realize something's wrong.
It cannot have happened in the last storm.
We have had very unusual heavy weather, many storms, lots of rain. It's very unusual at this time of the year. It was most likely that there was no power to the bilge pump, and you have the hatch open. And so with heavy rains, it flooded to the point where it flipped to its side. The first thing we do is throw in a submersible pump.
Basically throw it in where the hose is. Yeah, well, we can do that right now.
And there's the green hose.
After 24 hours of pumping, it looks a lot worse.
That hatch lost its glass, so you got water coming in there. In addition to the pumping, one of the first approaches is to try to prevent water coming in from that front hatch. In addition to plugging in the hole in the front covering the hatch, we're going to also drop in a second pump, a larger pump.
Okay, there's the pump. As you can see, it's starting to tilt a little towards the come-along jack. We have
3,960 gallons an hour.
Pumping here and 1,800. The water is below the hatch, so we should be able to pump most of this out. It turns out it's real shallow, and the keel is touching the bottom. And I fell in while I was trying to put in. That's how I figured out how shallow it was. Yeah, I could walk all the way around the boat. So we're pumping the water. Put the yoga mat with a weight to hold the hatch down.
In addition, we're adding a third pump, a much larger pump, as you will see. We mark the elevation of the water level in the boat on that stick. With the third pump added, we're dropping the level inside the boat by about 3 inches an hour.
So in 2 hours, we lower the depth by 6 inches.
Once the buoyancy was such that the boat was flipped up into the upright position, it ripped out the power cables, and the gasoline-driven pump was flipped over to its side, so there was no more pumping.
As you can see, the boat's floating. Last night, it emptied to the point where the buoyancy just popped it up and disconnected the power cable and flipped over the gas-driven pump.
Now we're pumping out the remainder of the water. There was about 8 inches of water left, and now the cleanup starts.